Hey guys, and welcome to BJCKDs podcast number 5. This week we have Beaver Blake.
Yo.
I think he's still alive.
I'm still alive.
J for
What
Joey.
are we doing down there?
Still C for Chris. And D for Daniel. Were you being sick?
No, because
There's nothing down there.
Yeah,
It's
from
just...
all the I've been sick. From all the time traveling that we did, because we.
that.
The reason we're here.
I'm pretty much recovered by now, so it's not bothering me
Yeah,
anymore.
sorry. That time travel sickness. So you guys probably know last week
Dude,
that.
man, get your time sheet in order, right? It's like it's easy. You just have to like practice it. You know, a couple trips here and there, like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So like that gets you used to it.
You just gotta make sure you do it at least once a month.
Get a vortex manipulator for
No,
God's
that's-
sakes.
You break your fucking bones, why don't you? Jesus.
Oh, right.
Whatever.
That's
Whatever.
a bit extreme.
No, I've been a minute
It's
in
like
and we're gonna
bad.
first
It's
swear
bad
word.
for you.
Yeah, but so we had a different. We were somewhere else last week, but then we actually fixed it. Now that's why we're here again.
No, it didn't take, guys, it didn't take time travel. I literally bribed, what was it? The police to stop to not look for arson. I bribed the renters to give me a new apartment that looks exactly the same, and yeah, so that's exactly why we're back here, is I bribed a couple of people and
Crap, I don't have my
got the same
score.
equipment.
Guys, just you guys can believe that, or you can believe the house that. I think believe the cool story. Now.
So
We
time
time
travel.
He's trying to cover it up just so we don't,
we
pester us.
We stopped the fire from happening in the first place.
Time travel.
Look, I've already had
or-
to deal with the interdimensional police already.
Look, true.
You're not Rick.
No. Rick is like totally on another level compared to me. No,
Rick has to deal
it's
with the
just
council.
it's just filling out a lot of forms.
Oh God, bureaucracy. Well, okay. So last week on the podcast we had a book club, which was a book. Yeah, we're all uni students. We don't do that shit apparently. So
Except me, I read sometimes, actually quite a bit. I was reading recently, but
Oh God,
Okay.
it's seriously. I just So we just did read a book. Just I
What's
was
a book? I haven't read it in so long.
It's that thing that anime
So
comes from.
manga, right? Manga,
Yeah.
right? See, it's when you take the pictures out and it's all just words, even describing what people are doing. That's a book.
It's that thing
Congrats.
anime comes
He's
from.
learned.
Yeah, so
Okay.
in other words,
Yeah.
we kind of screwed up, realised that we can't, ironically, do books for book club because we've got a lot of other stuff to do with our lives.
Because everyone fucked up, especially
Yeah.
me.
So, how are you?
Except me.
Back to
And also, we couldn't get to the moon either because.
We haven't done a book club for a while.
So-
we're in a bad trick
At least 2 weeks.
Yeah, backtrack
No, wait,
record.
more than 2 weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks at this point.
Okay, well, 2 weeks.
So, okay, to be fair, To the Moon is amazing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still have no idea.
You need to, just outside the book club,
Just
you
at
need
Look,
to
least-
watch.
I'm now busy with so much other stuff. Like,
At
I'm
least-
actually trying to get more of my homework done for one. And when I'm watching things, thanks to this guy, I'm now watching Dickishness. Before that, I had Love Live and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Speaking of, hyped for the next episode, yay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Takashi, yeah, okay, look, it's one of those things where, like, you
It's
guys,
really weird, but for some reason I like it.
you guys once told me that, like, I'm not a big person for slice of life style stuff. Like, I don't, like, and I thought, maybe, probably not. It was,
And did you confirm that by not enjoying Dickishness?
look, it's for
You
me.
guys said you both watch it.
I watched it, I watched an episode last night. It was,
Wow.
For
after
me-
my
for
review.
me, it came down to,
Doing reviews, guys.
No advertising. I'm not selling out yet.
for,
Yeah.
No,
At some
we're selling
point-
out to you. That's how it works.
no, but at the end of the day, like, Dickishness it's, for those who don't know, it's essentially just a slice of life anime about a girl trying to get a guy to, like, inherit a candy shop.
And it's all about Japanese candy, so every episode they're like talking about this or that. I mean, there's
Like a different
there's-
one.
And product
It's like
placement.
it's one of those
It's product
shows
placement the
that
anime.
it's one of those shows where like when you take a 22-minute episode, it's kind of divided into like two things. Like technically they're linked,
Yeah.
but like they're kind of like two separate.
But it,
And then in each of those things, it talks about two different candy and explains them. But I mean, I have to agree with your review. Some of it's kind of lost when we don't know it because we don't eat it. Because
lol, mic dropped. But
I'm sorry, who dropped the mic?
Oh god.
Oh, that wasn't even funny.
It was just good timing.
Timing, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Occasionally,
I think
like,
it's-
mean brain
I think it's
works.
also because we're
Occasionally.
tired. Like, okay, in Australia, we're currently in the first semester, and for us at RMIT, we're in week 8. Engineering is shit. But there's engineering, all that stuff is just terrible. Seriously, I've just got labs and all that, and it's like I've got mates of mine who are in the same case, but I'm the poster boy for anxiety, for God's sake.
You and me both, really.
You and me
I'm not doing super
And
well
I'm the
with that.
most calm person in the world, even when the pressure is on its highest.
Because you're good at this. You're good at that.
I'm
This,
not.
that.
Hey, I'm editing freaking videos and TV shows all day.
And doing
But,
that.
but
directing
is, okay,
stuff.
is it
Okay.
stuff that you enjoy doing?
Actually,
But I'm also working in a stressful environment.
speaking of
But,
that,
you enjoy doing it otherwise.
Sort of.
Because that would help a lot.
Wednesday I hate so much.
speaking of that, actually, Joey. So what exactly, like, Joey? You direct TV shows for a local channel, don't you?
Yeah, Channel 31 in Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah. So like, what is? I'm being curious. What does that actually entail? Like, what do you do with
Yeah, I'm
that?
curious of that as well.
So basically I'm really directing 2 shows for the past semester, basically the season. Basically, I'm directing. It's sort of a music show. It's like a music news show, like about like indie music people in Australia.
It kind of makes a lot of sense for you.
Yeah,
Hipster.
yeah, hipster stuff, I guess. But yeah, so I've been
That's
directing the
more
show.
music.
Basically, all I do is just tell which camera to put on and tell sort of where the the talent, the host, to stand and everything. And like, I'm sort of in charge. For this show called 1700. It's like, so like I tell where the host to go. I tell host to go stand up and like just like tell what camera shots to get, like close up mediums and all that. So that's what basically I do, and I do that for 2 different shows. The thing is, I do that on a Monday, and I also do it on a Wednesday for a different show. On a Monday, I'm actually working in a proper studio, which I don't get paid for it. I'm just volunteering. I work in a proper TV studio environment, so proper environment. I enjoy it because it's a proper environment. I'm learning stuff, and just being in that environment is useful.
Do you get any? So do you have any like actual like legitimate ties like to the industry? Like, do you like happen to run into like Waleed Ali or some shit like that while you've been working like internships or shit like that?
I don't think I have. No.
I mean,
Okay,
like,
Wally,
does he know celebrities because he works in the TV industry?
I know Wally, yeah, because he got famous after one speech. I know about that.
I don't.
Oh,
No, it wasn't just one speech. Like, he's been good for a while.
yeah, there's one that went viral.
Yeah, the one that went viral,
Yeah.
but at the very least, like, it was one of those things where he's a good journalist, yet people were furious at him for getting a logie, and it was, for whatever reason.
Yeah. So
It's
yeah,
local stuff. I don't really know too well.
yeah. Continuing my story, on my Wednesday freaking shoot, it is shit. I'm just gonna say.
Oh boy.
Why? Because first of all, TV studio is the most bootleg studio I've seen. It's not even a freaking proper TV studio. It's just literally 2 study rooms at this university. Literally 1 study room, and there's like another study room with sort of the controls with through all these computers and cable, like sort of cable. It's not proper equipment at all. It's just done through like computer and digital, so it's not really proper experience. And there's my big gripe about it is that I have no communication with the actual studio from the control room.
Okay, so that's actually that must suck.
So I've got to running a show
that
from
would
there.
be-
You have like no problem. So you can't really tell what camera to get, what the host to actually really do.
I've been on like a TV studio, like in the studio audience for some of this stuff. I've watched this type of stuff happening. That is bloody critical. Like that is definitely critical for this type of stuff. I was watching. I was in the audience for the weekly with Charlie Pickening. I
I
think it
can't
was.
fathom like. Oh, wait, you were the weekly ones?
Yeah,
God,
the weekly.
I'm actually that's a good show. I'm pretty.
Yeah, it's like John Oliver.
But at the same time, what the why are they doing? Why?
Because the proper studio is actually hired out for a class on the day. So basically I have to like work with this bootleg studio, and basically that's why
Like,
like
they're not rigging something up to make it like better. Like they're not trying to make it work better.
they punched a hole through the wall just to get cables through to one room.
Jesus Christ!
Literally, there's a hole.
Okay, but to be fair, if it works, it makes it better. But
Yeah.
but they're not. They need to make
That
it
is
clearly
still
better.
pretty
better.
shoddy.
Yeah.
They
It's
need
so
some, like,
bootlegged.
They need some like Bluetooth headsets or something.
Yeah,
Yes,
there is, like,
exactly.
like,
That's what I'm saying. They need to figure out something.
We
because,
tried-
Frankly, there's so much technology available these
We
days.
tried
that make it
Skype
easier.
calling, we tried phone, and like it's not working as well. That's the thing. And also, it's too small for the actual cameraman in there to move around as well. Because our crew is small. It's too small to like move around in there as well. Like you hit a different camera on the way as well, and you get in the shot.
Isn't there like some other place you can go at all? Literally just anywhere better.
Probably not, because it's an environment for ourselves only as well. That's the thing.
Okay, so
Right,
It's the best they can get for like bootleg stuff.
I'm gonna start praying that every Wednesday just gets better from now on.
Actually, last Wednesday was fun because the
Yeah.
class wasn't in the proper studio, so we actually used the proper studio. So, and guess what happened? The show ran smoothly. That was the smoothest
You
show
don't
I directed.
say. In the real studio, it ran like it was supposed to.
Yes.
I think like,
Well, to be fair, like it was
That's the
more
best.
than even when they're normally in the studio. That's
Yeah,
what he's
but
saying.
no, but even more so.
Huh? No, it just ran smoothly.
Just
'Cause, like, no,
that's good.
Until
That's
that
like
point,
it's like that's the kind of thinking that they should be using. It's like, wow, I suppose it works better if we don't hire out the proper studio to some class or whatever, and
Yeah.
let some people actually use it for the purpose. Oh my god, it just
yeah.
well,
it's hurting me thinking about
to be
this
fair
because it's so
though,
stupid.
To be fair to that, you should use it for class. It's a bit like a flight school using a plane for test flights. You need to be able to. The class needs to be able to use the proper thing to be able to understand how it functions.
But
well, not
while
full
stuff
like,
is fine.
but in terms of like the fight sim box thing. Like,
Well, double-edged sword. Like I've been.
but they should schedule it better so it's not cutting into
You can't-
someone's time.
You can't avoid that. No, you can't avoid that. It's a university.
Yeah.
But you can probably if you schedule better.
Okay,
No.
keep in mind, so all of us are part of RMIT's anime club. As a result, we've been having to look at, booking rooms and whatnot. As a result, and when we tried to do it this semester, we're usually, in this really nice building, big lecture hall, etc. We ended up with it was a bad room. It's not great.
Too
And
bad.
it's
It's
no,
not
but
as bad as it could be. To be fair, I was wondering about
It
why
is.
you
It
didn't
could be
same
worse, but it's also. But it's because it's been rented out to other clubs and other classes. So there are times where it can't be helped.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the television and whatnot, to try and get off this subject, do any of you guys watch Game of Thrones by any chance, or have watched some Game of Thrones?
I
I've
watched
got
two
it
episodes.
downloaded.
What
I
is
haven't
Game of
actually
Thrones?
watched an episode.
What is GOT?
Wait, what?
You hipster
I'm
bastard!
just kidding. Nah, I don't know what Game of Thrones is. I just don't watch it.
Oh god,
2 episodes. That's all I've got. All I've ever had.
it's okay.
I have the episodes. I haven't seen the
I
episodes.
got given the first R-rated thing I was ever given, Game of Thrones Season 1 on DVD, for Christmas many years ago. It took over a year for me to put the DVD in anything and start watching. And again, only 2 episodes. I have more of them to watch, but I just
The
don't.
first
Okay, what do you
thing
guys
I
think?
got was a DS game.
What do you guys think overall? Because I personally love Game of Thrones. I'm watching the current season. There was some twists that happened. It's
What, was there, just out of curiosity, was there a link to the previous topic? Because I'm just trying to figure, because the way
no,
you
because
introduced
TV
it-
shows
TV
and how they
shows.
run.
Okay, that makes sense.
Plus-
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out, is there some lead?
Also,
Okay,
we
makes sense.
kept talking about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, true. But it was interesting. I know.
No, but
we really got to talk about this in
It's done.
depth with it.
It's like Joey, yeah,
Eventually, we'll talk about each of our subjects that we're learning anyway. So,
Yeah, I think. Look, honestly, TV right now is probably at it's at a new form of golden age because there is so much good content. Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. Breaking Bad was really one of the best shows of the past decade.
I need to watch.
it's funny because that's on the verge of its death.
No,
on
but
the internet.
Breaking Bad is but it's being replaced with Better Call Saul, which is not as good but still very interesting.
No, I mean like TV in general. It's like in its new golden age, but just before its golden age, it was dying because of the internet.
But I think
It still is.
And then,
It's
as a
beginning-
result,
but
they
it's
work to try and adapt it to
Yeah.
make more sense
They-
with how the internet
yeah,
works.
it's
Yeah.
cooperating.
You have Netflix, you have Stan, if you're in Australia, and I mean, there's also other stuff in America. I think.
Hulu.
If you're in America, you've got
Yeah.
the actual good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, you can get some of the good stuff as well. It just I find some of the stuff that's on Stan is some of the stuff that's on Netflix in America. It's gone to a different
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
We still don't have the same total library, but it's still it just
I
has to go to a
still
different
don't
service.
know why. Who owns Game of Thrones in Australia again?
HBO. I think
No,
it's
in Australia.
Wait, no, it's
Foxtel.
Foxtel, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
Foxtel
really?
owns it, and they
Oh.
also own a streaming service.
Foxtel,
Do they not put
I
it on
believe they own
Foxtel
Stan.
Go.
No, they don't own Stan. They own a thing called Presto, I believe.
Yeah, they own Presto. They don't put Game of Thrones on Presto
Why?
It's because Foxtel are a bunch of greedy bastards.
because
and they're
because
Oh,
they
FX?
the greedy party. The only way to watch Game
Showtime.
of Thrones other than DVD in Australia legally is on Foxtel.
Scott. Foxtel Go is. I actually.
Oh god, I
I-
hate Foxtel so much. I had to deal with
use-
that for so many years.
My
At first I
parents
thought it was
currently
great.
have Foxtel. I kind of, I scam off their Foxtel Go account to watch, Game of Thrones. I used to watch Rugby League. As a result, Foxtel it's terrible because it holds a monopoly. Let's be honest here.
It did, and then Netflix came along and were like, "Hey, we have a better way of doing this." I mean, I know it's Australia, so we have less good
The
internet.
problem is that
Foxtel
Foxtel still owns all the TV rights.
Yeah.
But
And holds them hostage to
the issue
them.
is,
Yeah,
no. Netflix and Stan are great for stuff that's either original content or you want to catch up on. Foxtel is good for what Foxtel does is it does up to date content. So like you watch the newest episode of Game of Thrones, you watch the newest episode of The Walking Dead, the newest episode of John Oliver, instead of waiting God knows how long
Waiting
until
for a season to
The
end,
problem
basically.
is
Does it
how
take
often
it out?
Foxtel will attempt to choke the shit out of your wallet.
That's my point. Is they hold the monopoly of they hold the monopoly of up to date content, but they will choke the life out of you for it. Like compare that to the States where they've got something called HBO Go, which is all the HBO channel networks like shows. So that would have been stuff like Game of Thrones, John Oliver, the contents that they post, such as I think the Jinx, and just all this great content that is available online. TV as a medium is dying. TV shows as a content are thriving.
TV kind of. I mean, it's kind of. I feel like it's more working to kind of like TV at this point. Especially with all like the TVs now just have internet access built in some form or another. Like you know, it's becoming more of a like you get your standing Netflix on it, and it's just it's. That's kind of. I feel like that's kind of what it's more for. So it's still technically TV because you're still watching TV shows on TV, even if you're not using the standard like original style of antenna cable. Though there is still free to air things like channels like ABC for the Australian Broadcasting Company. I don't know what the C is.
Yeah, Australian Broadcasting Company.
Yeah,
Channel,
and they with being free to air, giving ABC News stuff like that. And, some channels like that, like Channel 9, Channel 7, you still have them as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of like. It's kind of in that sort of hybrid phase. I feel I don't feel like 7 and 9.
These things it's a hybrid where it's starting to go towards one side because a lot of even current content that's live is going on like
you're not wrong, but at the same time, I don't feel like certain channels are going to switch to fully digital, fully online.
No, they're not.
So
but they're
I
going
think
to
we're
die
gonna
before they do. They're going to die in the process.
Oh yeah.
Not necessarily.
With Channel 31.
That's the thing. Not necessarily.
No, but I'm not talking about local channels where it's local content because that's different from.
Hopefully that should survive.
No, but like
31 is going to die.
No,
is it?
It's dying this year.
It is.
Oh,
At the end of this year, it's dead.
Okay, but what I mean by that
That's
more.
not good.
But what I mean by that more is is along the lines of worldwide content or nationally viewed content, stuff that can get out to that is more likely to get out to the masses, and there's a better way to do it versus stuff like local content where it makes sense to keep it within local networks. It makes sense to have a local area, like we put this podcast online because we wanted it out to the masses, but there are certain things where if it's a Melbourne-based thing, or it's a Melbourne-based show, or Melbourne-based music, or etc., it makes sense to keep it within the Melbourne area.
And it kind of there's also regional.
Here's
some stuff.
Here's my take on it, but effectively, TV is, for the most part, not in total, but it's not on demand. It's when you don't know what to watch at this point. Because if you want to watch something specific, you go to the internet.
No.
If you want to watch,
you're right about that.
if you want to watch what's just on, you go to the TV.
Well, it depends on what's on because, like, prime example would be if I wasn't doing this podcast right now, I'd be watching rugby. And I don't have that option online. I think it is online, but it's better to have it.
It's tedious to look
It's
for it.
tedious to have it online.
Yeah, being able to switch.
there's
If you
a
know something's on
paywall
at a
online.
time, and you're like, okay, I just want to be able to watch this very easily. Turn on the TV, switch the channel, done.
And when it comes to sports, yes, sports you pretty much have to
Well,
go through
not
TV.
necessarily. Like
No,
NBA,
not
NFL,
entirely,
like
no.
a lot of
I feel
American
like-
ones do that.
Oh,
I got League Pass, so I know
but
how
but
it feels.
Australia.
Yeah, in
But-
Australia,
You have to
it's
consider
easier
local.
to
I was
send.
going to go back to that just because, like, the thing about television is they hold a grip on a lot of stuff that's in Australia is specifically not available online. Like,
Can I just say, the way you said Australia just then felt really like actually Australia. Like it was like that was great.
Australia, mate.
yeah, well, okay, look, the best way to have it in
Wait,
Australia
Keep
is
going though.
So our
It's
US guy
it's
is
like-
the most Australian.
I don't think we've actually ever gone over that. But in any case, like prime example is like The Amazing Race is a good example of that. You can see that online, like in America and probably many other places. You can see it online through their broadcasting network, CBS's original series.
I think that
Like,
the infrastructure available plays a big part.
It does, but that still doesn't mean that there's a paywall that wouldn't go out to the masses. Like, my point being, like, they just recently set up Netflix in Australia. There's been stuff that, like, we have the we have the technology. Yes, it's a bit more outdated than elsewhere, but it's still sustainable.
It makes it a little difficult. That's why I find with some friends that I play Xbox One with, especially, we're finding that it's a lot easier to buy. I mean, it's including the PC as well. We're finding it is easy to buy discs. Oddly enough, it's like the medium because of the infrastructure. It like with games on demand and stuff, especially now that you have these Blu-ray sized games, 50 gig downloads. You kind of don't necessarily want to have to take that all through the Australian internet. So discs.
I think Americans don't like that either.
I'd say that's completely different though.
But it makes me think about how infrastructure can play a really big part in this stuff. And I feel like Australian infrastructure for TV, especially when it comes to sports, versus American infrastructure having like the internet kind of access more. I feel like that plays a big role in it, if that makes sense.
But the issue is that you're talking about totally two different mediums. No, just think about it this way.
You're right.
No. Television is generally at max a 1 hour content that can be made on repeat and does not demand a high watching quality in terms of it's just 2D, it's straight texture versus video games, which I agree with you. I buy PC games on disc because I know that because not just because of the internet speed, but because of the data, the data rate. I bought GTA 5 last year on disc because I knew that it took up 65 gig.
Don't buy that on
it took up 65 gig of my plan versus somewhere in the States where it's unlimited. So you a lot of those plans are unlimited.
That's what I'm saying though. The infrastructure plays a big part.
But that's in terms of
gaming. I know that disc versus on demand is different, but it's still kind of it's kind of my point is it's like the infrastructure can play a really big part in what people tend to do and how the culture around.
He's not comparing the idea of downloading games to what playing TV is. It's more of the case of he's using video games as an explanation of why our internet sucks.
Yes,
and that affects how we view TV and.
Do you think there will ever be a government or a company or something that improves Australia's internet up to a
We already have it. It's the NBN, guys.
No, the NBN. Well,
that's the joke.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, the NBN is better, but it's still
but we have so little. The NBN being the National Broadband Network. If you don't know, it's
it's supposed to be just catch us up with the world. It's just
so
gonna put us on par. It's just gonna put us on par with the world.
The way they're rolling it out is super slow and doesn't necessarily make logical sense to some people. Some it might make sense to them when they're rolling it out, but some of us are kind of but I'm right next to you and I don't get the NBN, but you do. What?
I think that part of that's also cable. You have to keep in mind. The NBN
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It makes sense.
The NBN is the transfer from copper to optic fiber.
Because we have so much copper in this country for some reason. We're going dance.
No, that's our mining industry.
Yes.
What I mean by that is, here's the thing.
You want to talk about someone having a chokehold on something's wallet? Talk about the country's wallet and the mining industry.
But the issue is okay, but
it irritates me.
Let's leave that aside for another day. But
we're getting into politics.
Speaking of movie rental service, did you know Steam's starting its own movie rental service?
Yes.
What?
They've been doing that for years, but they've actually.
I didn't know about that. What the really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
I'll double check it, but it's because I was seeing it this morning, and it was a service for Steam for
Steam Mock? What was that? I mean, that's not actually related to the thing, but
they've been working on getting videos onto
add
Steam.
Streaming rental service. So adds a streaming service, so you can see stuff like Hunger
Overlay,
Games.
Please go away.
That's an advertisement.
Yeah, I know it's an
Where
advertisement.
can you close it?
I don't know how. No, but okay, here we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's adding stuff like Hunger Games, Saw, Twilight, even stuff like
Saw.
Yeah, Saw. Yeah.
Well, oh my god, why are they putting red text on a red background? It's impossible to actually read.
Okay, well, back to the actual content because no one else is actually seeing this.
Yeah, it's PCMag.com.
No, just leave it.
Just in case you were
but it's okay, so it's stuff like Hunger Games, Divergent, Twilight, even some bad movies. And honestly, with Saw it makes sense, just sitting in the stream going, I want it. Hello.
Wait, $4 for 2 days.
What?
2 days. That's not bad.
That's pretty
two
good.
Yeah,
days,
no,
so
that's
pretty good.
definitely better than those.
I don't know, man.
Better than like iTunes and stuff. Okay,
Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It's still there's still like Netflix is still much better than that.
question: Is
But
that
it's still
$4?
fun.
Is that $4 for SD or HD?
No clue. I know as much as you do with this.
I guess it's
Whatever
like,
they
I still
have.
guess it's HD, but also
I would hope so.
Well, okay. It says to
Explorer.
compare it to Amazon and iTunes. What is the quality on there?
Depends on
I
what you
would say
choose.
iTunes.
HD.
Yeah,
HD.
iTunes standard definition rental is like I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know
okay,
if it's 48 or
pause,
72
pause, guys,
hours.
pause. Okay, video. Wait, did it crash? So we've lost the video.
I couldn't tell how.
Fuck.
'Cause I ain't got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key.
Okay, well that happens. Oh god. No,
Professionalism.
You can come back
I'm
alive.
still sick.
professionalism.
Look, we're professional time travelers, okay? You can't let it affect you this much.
Oh, sorry.
No. I'm the professional time.
I'm not getting used to this, guys.
Well, what's he then? He's,
He's the time anomaly with Kai in that.
no, he's like the Doctor Who companion.
Yes. Yes.
Because we just talked about how he does TV.
He's the male companion.
Well, who's the female companion?
Oh, I just got to get caught up with shit.
You?
You're the anime girl. Liz.
Apparently.
But they actually just announced a new companion for Doctor Who. Yeah, the Doctor's got a new companion after the
I
previous
haven't
companion.
watched in a while, I'll be honest.
Is it the same Doctor?
It's the same. Well, it's Peter Capaldi still.
Capaldi.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting. It's one of the, he's a good Doctor. I like him as a Doctor because he's more serious than the past two, which is something which is a bit more endearing. He's like a grumpy grandpa.
Yes,
That's-
but also Tennant was pretty spot on with his ability to mix serious and funny.
No, I don't get me wrong. Tennant was the best. I'm just saying Capaldi's
Yeah.
good.
Having been a kid who, before the new Doctor Who came out, was watching the reruns of old Doctor Who on TV and enjoying it, I can safely say Tennant was pretty freaking awesome. Though I did like some classic Doctor.
In all honesty, the first time I ever watched Doctor Who was, I didn't know this at the time, but once I actually properly got into Doctor Who, I found out the first time I ever watched Doctor Who was the episode where Tennant regenerated. And it was supposed to be like, no, because it was the final scenes as well. It was a very sad moment of the final scenes. I
You were
had
like,
no idea what the hell is going
Yeah,
on.
context. Important. Like when I tried to get a friend to watch My Little Pony, they went to some random episode that wasn't particularly good and was kind of like, what the fuck, why do I care about any of this?
What? Wait.
No, but like,
You don't watch
no,
the
but I
show.
think the best bit...
No, but I know episodes that are terrible.
I think it's funny. I think it's very funny though how I was watching this episode, which when I actually knew it in context, was bringing me to tears, and I was just sitting there in some hotel in Buffalo, New York, in a snowstorm, going, okay, sure.
I wish you weren't 7 and you saw a face explode.
How did you get a city-sized buffalo? What is this?
No, it's a city called Buffalo.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Right, mate, it did sound like a joke.
It's dead.
But yeah, my
Not deadpan, but it's like it's my type of
might
humor.
want to
It's
scroll
great.
that by the way.
Yeah.
Anyway, so at least it wasn't like my first episode of Doctor Who where I saw a stretched out face explode.
Oh,
Which was that?
Cassandra! Moisturize me.
Oh god.
That
Ugh.
was a creepy
That was
episode.
weird.
I was 7 and that was my first Doctor Who
Weeping
episode.
Angels when you're young. Shit.
No, okay. No,
God.
okay.
That stuffed me up for so long. Oh my god.
Like the episode I've seen the most of is the three Doctors series because that's the only one I've got on DVD.
Classic Doctor. Classic
Yeah.
Who. I haven't watched Classic
I'm
Who.
gonna say,
I need to watch
whenever
it.
they did 3 Doctors, 5 Doctors, they did 2 Doctors at one point as well. And that stuff was, it was gorgeous. Oh my god.
I need to watch that because
All these paradoxes are gonna make me sick.
I've never watched Classic.
What?
All these like thinking about these so much doctors is gonna make me sick.
You know, because when they did
You'll
5
meet half of
Doctors,
them in a week.
Joey, I know what'll make you feel better. Lion's Head closed down.
No, don't say it like that.
Oh my god.
It's ripping up a band-aid.
I was also about to make a joke about Doctor Who. I said we should dress up as Doctor Who next week just as a joke. But all right, Lions.
I have no idea. I know
I
what's
know
Doctor
that.
Who, but yeah.
This was different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh wow, Lionhead Studio closes. Yeah, this is just announced like as recording during the time this podcast during the technical
Wait,
difficulty.
within hours of this.
within hours of this, like literally just 2 hours ago. Lionhead Studios closed. They're literally just closed right now. If you guys don't know who Lionhead are, they are the company who made Fable games and I just play and the movies game.
They've been they've been circling the dunny for a couple of weeks, like for a couple of
Wait,
months.
wait.
actually.
Who owned Lionsgate?
Microsoft. Wasn't it Microsoft?
Microsoft. I believe it was Microsoft.
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
it's like
I don't really know because I didn't really play. I know Fable. I know at least one of the Fables, I can't remember which, is considered really
Probably
good. Probably one, I don't
And
know.
I know
At least it's not EA.
I know. I know. 1 was good. 2 wasn't great. Was mad.
2 was okay.
3 was shit. 3
3
was.
was not
Yeah,
shit.
trying to
Well,
get
I
It was okay. Like, no,
I
1 was
know.
good, 2 and 3 were okay.
It's
That
better
was
than
it.
Konami.
So it was a bit of a disappointment otherwise.
Yeah, but this is a huge blow in my nostalgia because
Yes. Let's focus on this.
also the fact that they like this is like something Lionhead did something really big for the gaming industry. Like with Fable 1, like this is what they did: decision making, choice making. That they popularized it.
you mentioned that before.
They popularized it.
No,
Huge.
What
They,
happened?
it was huge for them because like okay before that, the only game that I knew that
What
had
did you
decision
do?
making, that had karma and everything like that between that was Star Wars KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
That was very early, but it wasn't really as popular. But Fable took that decision making to now it's being done in every game. You
I
almost-
remember playing
decision-making.
KOTOR when I was young, and I found it kind of very difficult to get by. I tried playing it so many times, and only one time I could get past certain things, and so I can understand why that game versus I feel like Fable was probably more accessible.
It made it very noticeable because
Yeah.
when you made good when you're doing all the good decisions and choosing the good path, you become like an angel almost with a halo and you're actually legit. And when you actually do evil stuff, you actually become a devil. Your horns start growing out of you.
Didn't Black and White? Didn't they produce Black and White? Or was
Yeah,
that a different
they
studio?
did. They did produce white.
Black and White?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember playing. Like a mate of mine used to play that. I used to look over his shoulders and play, backseat gaming. But I remember watching that,
Who's
liking
serious
that,
now?
and I remember how there was a very big basis on moral choices.
What is
My
this
head-
game?
Okay.
It's
Black and White is effectively you
Civ
God plus Civ. Like you.
It's a Civ 5 except you're God.
Yeah.
God 5, got it.
God 5. like so it's a sequel. It's a sequel to God.
But yeah, Black and White 2, which gets really confusing when you're a Pokemon
Black
player.
White 3 got cancelled.
But Black and White 3 got cancelled. But I heard they were really, really good.
Oh, that's not the wish.
Yeah.
I didn't hear much about it. I never got the chance to play it, but I heard they were really good.
Yeah, they everything. I think it was everything since after Fable 3. Everything just kept getting cancelled by them. I'm not kidding. Like everything just kept getting cancelled. So that would lead to their downfall and stuff. But
Disappointing.
it's kind of like it's
I'm
shocking.
getting to that.
It's
It-
shocking
No,
to me.
stop, wait. Okay, going from the series that has died to the series that doesn't seem to want to die, there is yet another Five Nights at Freddy's sequel.
No.
There is another Avatar
No.
for it. Jesus Christ. Okay, look, I almost respect the Five Nights series. In a way, I respect the Five Nights series.
As do I, because
it
the
was a
lore, I
very
watch the game theory lore videos, and that's really all I
Yeah.
can stand to do.
But that's what I mean, is that, like, even if the game theory laws aren't completely accurate, it was the fact that, like, the gameplay was not great.
Sorry,
Because it was
can
very
you close that?
repetitive.
Can you close that? Can you
It
close
was very
It's
repetitive.
gonna get nightmares. Like it's gonna get nightmares.
Oh yeah, that's right, you don't like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
You can't do it with the evil
it was
within
very
either, for example.
repetitive, but the amount of lore that he crammed into it, and the fact that he did that much lore and that very detailed of a
kind of
story
game, yeah.
in that kind of game over the span of a year, 4 games in a year.
We'll still not know the answer.
No, because
No, but I think
No, it didn't. Because if I recall correctly, when they did the big game theory stream after he released his most recent proper theory video, they then didn't Scott actually start I recall Scott was
Scott was confirming it.
Scott was confirming.
Scott was
he
confirming
putting-
parts.
He was confirming parts, and he was putting in he was sending them clues.
But I
And then
still-
that's,
They
He never actually solved what it was,
Yeah.
but he got so close he may as well.
In the end, no, I think in the end, what he gave
I
two
can't stop
separate.
this task.
But in the end, he gave 2 separate theories, and Scott talked about the ambiguity of an actual storyline. He said there were multiple perspectives, and it was in the eye of the beholder.
I remember actually.
Yeah. And then it was
but-
the whole it might have been just a dream.
But-
and
but
that
That's
was
right.
so
I remember.
really
That's part of what they discussed in the thing. Was they were like,
Yeah.
well, maybe you could, given everything that's built up, maybe you don't want to because that could really hurt things. You don't want to reveal it finally because that could really.
I appreciate that. I appreciate like Five Nights at Freddy's because it was.
It tried to do something different.
It was a game. It was an indie game developed by a developer that, though the jump scares were what made it popular, the lore, even if it wasn't continuous, there was a lot of lore
You
about
went in for
a
the jump
mystery
scares
of the place.
and you stayed for the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and left for the very creepy artwork that came out of it.
Yeah.
But besides the point, like
Versus, for some reason, the Evil Within. I don't normally play horror games. For some reason, I wanted to play the Evil Within since the announcement trailer. God knows why. But it's not a game that's very big on jump scares. There's like, for example, like one of the things you can do throughout the game, because it's the kind of survival horror, like it's more Resident Evil 4 than like other ones. But like there's lockers there's lockers you can look through. But only one time in the entire game do they surprise you with a dead body in one of the lockers.
But
like they don't go for the jump scares. They go for stuff that's actually going to terrify you,
suspense.
like a spider monster thing that will destroy you in one hit. If
I'm
you
sorry,
don't get rid
this
of
is
it.
reminded
They
me
need to go for
of...
psychological horror.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
so that's
sorry.
that's actually very popular right now because like
If it's done
No,
right,
no,
if it's
no,
done
no,
right,
no, no.
then yes.
No, 'cause
PT
it's the
Silent Hill games.
versus Layers of Fear.
I think-
I recall watching the Angry... I mean, if you don't mind me continuing to say stuff, but the Angry Joe review on Layers of Fear, how he talked about how when compared to PT, when you get jumped by the wife thing following you in PT, that would end the game for you. Versus in Layers of Fear, where it really didn't mean anything other than helping you progress through the game. There's no you
death.
can't lose. It's every time you get
It's an
jumped by
experience versus a
you lose to
story.
yourself.
But you I'm not
That's
sure you
like
can
the only
do.
way you can lose is if you quit the game.
So
I suppose so.
what
yeah.
exactly is okay? I'm gonna just. What exactly is Layers of Fear? 'Cause I never actually watched any Let's Plays for it or anything like
It's
that.
I know Achievement Hunter did a video on it. That's the only reason I know
Is that the one?
and
Is that the
it's-
game
it's the
inspired by
paint one.
PT? No.
Yeah, it's the one. It's very similar to PT. You're like this painter in like I don't know, like the 1800s. I don't know when. I'm gonna be honest. But like some stuff's been your house is like changing and stuff as you go through it, kind of like the way stuff did in PT. Your paintings are really like the paintings you see.
Oh
in the house
yeah,
are
now
really
I
messed
remember
up,
this
like
one. I saw a
Christ.
review of it. Yeah.
And then
So
I don't know. It's like
it's
there's,
kind of
there's some cool.
He's
ones.
an artist actually.
it's kind of a
Yeah, he's a
trap. It's a
painter.
trapped room style. It's a trapped room style horror game.
Well, it's
where
not
things
just room.
are
It's your
changing.
house, and then everything's like.
Well, that's what I mean.
there's
You're
some
trapped.
really
You're
weird-
trapped in a specific area, and as you explore it, things become more twisted and more demented. And
In a sense, yes.
deeper
In a
it
sense,
is.
no.
The further down the rabbit hole you go, the worse it gets.
Not quite. It doesn't quite match up to PT in that. Like, it doesn't quite do because like you can tell it's trying to go for like more PT, but it doesn't quite. From what I could see, there are times where it does become more messed up, but then it like at the end of the game, you're in one of like you will end up in one of the rooms that you kind of started in. Things pretty normal. Things kind of seem to like it from the looks of it. Things kind of get like bad, but then kind of normal again.
So it's kind of coming down from the high.
A little bit.
Wait.
But-
And then apparently there's multiple endings or something. I can't remember what there is about that. And there's like you finish a painting or something. I don't know.
What
This isn't the VR game, is it?
No.
It could have potential, I guess.
Oh no, that's
Yeah.
oh damn, that's horror the experience. But no,
That's
but
a thing.
actually,
I wanna
it's a
talk about
weird.
that.
It's a weird thing of like just with these type of horror games. Five Nights at Freddy's especially, it's kind of brought Let's Players to a new forefront in a way. Like no, because like you had popular Let's Players, prior to this,
And
and,
you did
after
have,
this.
and you did have YouTube-based sort of games, or
But-
games that could be considered that even if they weren't designed to be that. Like
But-
I think Mount Your Friends, for example.
Mount.
Mount
Yes.
Your Friend.
That's what I said.
But
That's what I
said
intended to
Mount.
say.
Mount.
I meant to say Mount.
But
Please.
even so, it's a case of like this was a game that in any other scenario would have not done well.
Yeah,
and
and Scott
the-
really built up.
Minecraft.
Well, what I mean by that is like there was
No,
no creativity to it. The sequels, the gameplay of the sequels were the same.
Yeah.
The laws kept.
Yeah,
but,
apart
like,
from
I
some
can-
slight variances
but
in rules.
what
and
I
how
mean by
things
that
work.
is, at the end of the day, it was a game that even popular Let's Players came further to the forefront. Stuff like Markiplier was still popular, but he became a lot more popular with Five Nights at Freddy's. Game theory was still very set, but it got a lot more popular when it started talking about FNAF.
Yeah,
There
no,
are
no,
still-
no, I find myself
no,
now
no,
watching
no,
it.
but it rode. Look, what was it? They rode the train and got off at a certain point on high. There are still
They got
certain,
it from high, yeah.
but there are still certain
And
channels
they got back
that
at a new train apparently.
there's-
There's a new game.
well, no, but there are still
Goddamn.
there are still certain channels that
screaming in his sleep.
there are still certain channels that still have like are still riding that train and it's going back down. Like Smike is still making top 10 FNAF videos every year on. But at the end of the day, it was very successful. Hell, it's still successful. The app version of Five Nights at Freddy's still makes about $5,000 a month.
Okay.
Like that was only game for
Even
$1.
now, isn't
Even
the
now.
game like it's out and it's like how do you people have bought it? How many people are still buying this game?
That's the weird thing. is it feels like the
I don't know. I have little kids like to go up to me and say like, "How you play Knights Finance? How you play?" I'm like, "No, because I don't play it anymore." But
I would
like,
still say
even little kids are little actually while playing it. I swear to God.
Oh god.
Is that popular? Like,
And then in this case, don't get me started on the fact that having little kids play things they should not be playing, like
Ah,
IoT
yeah,
games.
because like
God
all
damn.
the kids these days have iPads and
I
stuff.
think that's a
and
whole
tablets.
topic.
That is an entire
had
topic
to-
on itself.
That should
Like,
be an
it's related
entire
to.
podcast.
That should be.
That's
day.
why. That's why Finance is getting popular. It's still getting bought because parents are still buying games for them.
I still
Yes, even though they don't understand.
I still that's it.
It's like,
I actually
oh,
I once
shit,
had
what's up with
to
this?
I was
Fucking
once like working at a school at one point just helping around. I was walking down the halls and there was some kids sitting on the side watching some videos. One of them was watching a PewDiePie video of Five Nights at Freddy's. I had to report that to the teacher. And I feel like it comes back to the discussion of when video games get in trouble, it's not because like when people get in trouble for video games, like video game bans or one, it's not because the video game is the problem. It's because
Wait, was this during a class that you had to report it? Like, if
I had to report it during a class.
but it's happening during a class. I just want to make sure I know why you.
And it was happening in the middle of a class, and it was more.
Okay.
It was more they were sitting off the side. It was free play, but it was also inappropriate content for school.
Yeah. Okay.
It was, but.
I guess if you're older, then yeah, like it's.
No, but even like it's a primary school.
Yeah. No. Then yes, but.
But okay, but this goes back to the discussion of are video games hurting kids, and I think no, but yes, but that's the reason we have a rating system. I'm going to go off on a bit of a rant here because. For the love of God, no, I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to actually
let's
rant.
not, because
Right.
we could both rant about the fact that people buy stuff for kids when they by
Charlie,
ignoring the
can
rating
you-
systems and then getting
What?
upset at the
Could
people
you rant
selling it
about
to them.
this?
I could rant about
Yeah,
this. but
so
I don't
let's
I'm
not rant
pretty
about
sure
this
all
because
three of us can
we're-
rant about this.
All four of us, well, you probably as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
I'm
much so.
gonna-
All of us
said
could rant
all
about
four
it.
of
I'm
us.
going to have a quick.
So you said three of us. Never mind, my brain isn't working.
I'm going to have a short spiel before I start this because
Do we have to?
I'll start
Because
this.
we could talk about this another time. Let's talk about the other things that we want to talk about.
I wanted to. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Another
I
time,
know how
another
much
time.
you want to feel about talking
Some-
about it.
sometimes we just need to let it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
If I'm going to relieve this with a big thing I want to talk about, I'm going to do this. I watched Civil War, the midnight premiere for Civil War yesterday.
None of us have seen it. So
I'm
we
not
can't
going to
talk
spoil
about
it. I'm not going to
Nobody
spoil
will
it.
see
There was
it with
one
me.
more thing I
I
wanted
just
to
wanna-
say about Five Nights.
Wait,
Spider-Man
someone will see
good.
it with me, and I'm excited to see it
Spider-Man,
with them.
great.
Done.
Look, okay,
He was?
let me
Okay, I'm excited
Without
about it.
any spoilers,
Without
how
any-
much Spider-Man was there?
more than what the trailers let you think there was.
Okay.
Well, the trailer was only there for like.
Yeah, the trailer was like 3 seconds.
No, but my
I mean,
point,
yeah, it's
Well,
like
more
if
like-
you look at
if you look at
Spider-Man
on a
in the
relative
trailer, it's
scale.
like, oh, he's at the end.
it more like on a
Wow.
relative. Okay, let me put it this way. I'll say this right now. Okay, I'll break this down for you. The story was great. The story itself was amazing.
Guys,
cat-
can share too.
The main cast was well set. You know, when you had the big hero fight that's been advertised for weeks, it was worth it. But it was the hype of a 12-hero superhero fight was insane.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Even if the fight itself wasn't the best thing in the world.
My heart is just beating
That
in
said-
anticipation.
That's it.
Anticipation.
All in all,
I
it
can
was
wait.
a great movie, and it was a definitely. I don't know what they're going to do for me because is Robert Downey Jr. doing any more movies as Iron Man? Because I thought this was his last one.
I think he's still I think he's still got.
You realise that at this point, given you've seen the movie, you would know better than we would, given based on
No,
where
no, no, no.
Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr.
No,
are.
but like what I mean by
Like
that
it's
is-
I mean no, but like you have to take into account something that we cannot take into account right now when we think about it is what he did in the movie.
I'm not
because
going to.
spoilers.
No,
I know
I'm
you're
not
not going to
meaning-
spoil it.
I'm not meaning
But-
in the look. Let me put it this way. He's not. I'm going to say this now. He's not dead.
Spoilers. Jeez.
Spoilers. He's not dead. No, they didn't kill
Spoilers.
each other.
He's not dead.
No,
He's not quite dead.
But what
He's
I
not
mean,
dead yet.
but
I
that's
feel
what I
better.
mean. But that's what I mean is in the context of this movie, it can go both ways, and I don't know if they've cast Downey Jr. for any more movies.
Well, I think he's still under Marvel's contract, so
Yeah, he's still
He's still under
has to
contract.
complete
I
the
mean, there's
contract.
Avengers 3.
But
Like,
does
surely
that
he's
have-
going to
the
be in there.
Avengers, but the Avengers is a fluid group of multiple superheroes. It doesn't inherently have to have Iron Man.
They
But
did
it-
replace Hulk.
It kind of does.
Not really, because like seriously.
No,
the
but at
Avengers
this
can
point,
consist-
when you consider the hype around Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, it kind of does.
doesn't mean they have to go with it. Like you can still stay loyal to a story and still make it good without having big screen. I understand what you're getting at.
I mean, yes, because they did have Captain America Winter Soldier, and that didn't have a trace of RDJ, even though he's so beautiful.
But
Well,
my
that was because it was a Captain America.
Exactly.
But
Get
no,
into
no,
Civil
no,
War
point
with
is-
Captain
yeah, no,
America.
but
My
I'm saying
point
because
is
you can
more
have-
the benefit of individual Marvel movies is that you don't have to have your main cast. When you bring them to, because think about it this way, there's going to be so many more introductions for them. They've got Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel.
I'm looking forward to
Black
Doctor
Panther?
Strange. I do
Black
like Benedict
Panther?
Cumberbatch to some
They
degree.
might
So-
they actually cancelled there is no longer a release date for the Inhumans movie.
I think that's gonna be
What was
after.
Inhumans?
Surprised by that.
Inhumans was a
It's-
race of heroes, of people with powers that are descendant from humans that were genetically modified by aliens. So
Yeah.
basic breakdown is in ancient times an alien race called the Kree, those blue guys from Guardians of the Galaxy,
The blue guys.
their race modified a
Big face.
certain race of humans to have certain powers. Now, those powers stay dormant till they are introduced to something called Terrigen, and those powers are passed down genetically. So there are a bunch of people in the world, not everyone, but there are a bunch of people in the world who can be exposed, who are exposed to, who when exposed to this Terrigen get these powers. That's what Inhumans are.
Yeah.
I
And by
think-
the way, this is a very, very recent comic. Like, they just reset the universe for like the Marvel thing with Scarlet Witch, but effectively because they just reset the comic book universe. The Inhumans is a new thing for this new universe that started with this new universe.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
This is very recent.
But even so, I'm more thinking along the lines of, like, the reason I know is because I watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know even that mythos is not as accurate to the comics as it could be.
Or to the movies for that matter.
Well, no.
They have to. They
No.
take some liberties.
Because what they do between the movies and the TV show is the movies affect the TV show doesn't inherently affect the movies.
Exactly.
And, like, there have been times where it affects the movies,
Yeah.
but it's not insane.
It's like they effectively have this like big flow chart, and they have to make sure that this doesn't clash with this.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's very interesting. Like, people will probably say based on this, we're Marvel fanboys over DC. I appreciate DC. I like DC's villains. Like, there was a trailer recently for Batman's The Killing Joke which is a very heavy story between Batman and Superman. But overall,
It's a
I'm
Joker
actually
story.
excited for that. Yeah, it's a Joker story. I'm very excited for that because that looks really good. They've got Mark Hamill voicing the Joker, and he was insane.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect, Ray. That's selling point right there. Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill's Joker.
Yeah, but
So good.
DC has
So
great
good.
qualities. They just haven't shown it very much in the major
Yeah,
pop culture right now.
I've found
They
that
haven't shown
in
it in their
general-
movies, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've shown it in their cartoons.
No,
Their
they didn't
cartoons
show
are
it in
really-
the Batman trilogy. The Chris.
No, but that, yeah, the
they
Nolan
showed
trilogy.
it in
Yeah.
the
Dark
Nolan
Knight.
trilogy.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah, the Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight trilogy.
So they've shown it in
But
that. They've
other
shown
than
it
that,
in.
I personally
they've
find
shown it
I'm
in
more
the TV
attracted to
shows.
Marvel stuff
Yeah.
based on what they're doing. It's
Yeah,
it
it's just
feels like
in
it pulls
modern
me in more.
times.
So I think maybe it's just a personal thing where I love the massive collaboration that is MCU. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think it's like for me, I like Marvel because they've done a lot more in the main pop culture. I feel like you could go into a comics war about this every day of the week because look, on a comics level, that's a different argument. I'm more talking about on a pop culture in terms of TV shows, movies and whatnot.
In a
So in
sense,
terms of
that's where
comics,
Marvel's win.
have any of us actually read comics?
I don't
have.
really. Well,
Not for a very long time,
I
but I
don't-
read some old stuff.
I
I
don't
read
read-
this one weird Superman comic where he was beating up old people in big powered suits of armor. I'm not even kidding. They were wearing these like it was like a really weird. I don't understand why that was a thing, but
I don't read the comics, but what I do sometimes is I read the plot summary.
Yeah.
Instead.
yeah.
That's
that's what
effectively
I
what I
prefer to
do.
do.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just read the plot summary because just too many issues in comics to catch up with.
the comics I read that these days are actually the IDW Transformers universe, the Generation
Yeah.
1 that they did.
Okay.
That's been going. It's
But
actually
we're not going to go into Transformers.
it's been going since 2006, and it's really good. And I feel like it should be more loved than it is, especially given that one of the current running series called More Than Meets the Eye is like a weird space horror thing that, even though I don't really like horror much, really appeals for some reason because it's so good and it's won awards.
I bought the Civil War comic at Supernova, but a comic series I want to read is the Walking Dead comic book series.
Oh yeah, I feel like I really want to read that. I've been reading plot summaries. It's like because it's really different to the show.
Yeah, well, okay, it's one of those. It feels, from what I can tell of what I've heard of the plot, it converges and diverges at different points. There are
Yes.
It's the same arcs. It's just different. How it's done different.
different characters do different things, but
And different characters exist.
to the
Yeah.
same end.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daryl doesn't exist in the comics.
Yeah, actually,
Well, it's like when you look at MCU versus Marvel Comics.
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I just wonder. Wait, you read the Civil War comic?
I haven't read it yet. I haven't had time.
Because I know
fair enough.
I know how the
I
Civil War
skimmed-
comics go.
I
I
skimmed
know how it
through.
goes,
I
so.
skimmed through.
Oh yeah, I
it.
remember reading,
I skimmed-
watching a thing.
I skimmed
like,
through
or
it.
something.
I'm not going to say what happens. I'm not going to say.
I know,
what
but don't
happens.
say it. But I just wondering, like, 'cause I just wondering how much different is the movie compared to the comics. I wonder.
I'm not going to say.
Yeah.
I've heard
That's why I'm just
I've
hyped
heard
about
arguments that the Civil War comic is both brilliant and dumb ass at the same time.
Yeah, I've
I'd
heard
be
this,
interested to see where that stands.
Because the main argument I've heard against the Civil War comic being good is that they change characters' personalities for the good of the story.
That's I find that I don't
and
like
that's
that.
a big problem, yeah.
I don't like this. If you put it, a good story revolves the story around the characters. The
Because then
characters
it's
should not
effectively
revolve around
Deus
the
Ex
story.
Machina, but you're changing the characters. But anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but in any case, so like in terms of Supernova, so you two went. We tried to get you in. Oh, okay.
Failed.
Basically, us all three went except Blake.
Okay, here's what happened. You had a spare ticket, but every time I had you in contact, I couldn't contact you.
there was something
and
going on about
vice
that.
versa.
Yeah, it was not easy to arrange it at the time.
No.
Hello, I am the announcer telling you that the people in the podcast fucked up a little bit, so they want me to voice over this part. Do you want to hear a joke? There's a camera on my desk. It's not a joke, it's a fact.
Okay, but in any case,
It was difficult to figure
it
out
was
how to
difficult.
get
It
the
was
ticket.
difficult. It was difficult to communicate, and as a result, we had to. As a result, when I found you and was trying to communicate, I couldn't get a hold of you on the phone. And when I had you on the phone, he was somewhere else on the convention floor.
Yeah, it happened. It was fun.
Oh, well, I did my thing that day, and
did
I
you?
went and... Oh, I was at a gay,
Gay. You were the gay one.
You read something. A game something. I was assuming you had to say.
No, it was a game designers meeting for, like, board games and stuff.
Okay,
so-
Okay.
Oh, fair enough.
Did that in the morning, and I was like, well, I've done my thing. I may as well call, see if I can do that. And it was like, I pretty much took the person I was building the game with to learn Vanguard, and that was that.
More card games.
Yeah, more card games, because I am the freaking card game devil.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, you've been distributed to all of us. Like literally, you are patient zero in this case. No, but actually,
but-
you've-
I'm now dragging more people in. If
You've
you
had a
recall
lot of
earlier
industry.
today.
No, you've had a lot of industry access for it. Like you went to this VR thing earlier today.
Oh, yeah. So,
What
Yes.
was that actually?
Yes, tell
Okay,
us.
so NVIDIA has this thing called the GeForce Forums. I ended up going through what is called an NFAN event. This was their the NFAN event I originally went to, it was their second ever NFAN event. The last one was last year. In Melbourne, I mean. So there was multiples in other states and stuff. But effectively, they have they're trying to build a community of NVIDIA fans in pretty much all of Australia and connect them all to this one forum. So with the NFAN event I went to in order to meet YouTuber Blunty, good guy by the way, I went there because he was advertising and that's how I found out about it. And they told us all to join the forums, and if you act enough on the forums, you get invited to other events. You can none of these NFAN events are now open to the public. You have to be a forum member and you have to be good at it. I'll probably put a link
What
somewhere.
happened at those forums?
But
So at those events as well.
so in the first event I went to, it was basically talking about PC parts, mostly about the graphics cards.
Yeah,
So-
And
basically
then like having
that makes
having
sense.
test
I get you.
computers all along, having a Hearthstone tournament, which was pretty cool,
Oh, wow.
and a few other tournaments and stuff, and giving away prizes, including graphics cards themselves.
Holy
Oh my
shit!
God,
Like,
wow.
wait, what type of graphics are we talking? Like 980s,
980s.
Wow.
any Titans?
TIs, yes.
Oh my
Well,
god.
I meant Titan X's.
Well, no, only Nvidia cards.
That is an Nvidia Titan X.
GeForce,
GeForce.
yeah,
Oh wow.
because it was
Okay.
a GeForce event.
Right, nice. But,
Did you want to explain, by the way, because the story you told earlier today about why you're one of the people considered eligible for these events is
Okay.
funny?
So, I'm going to tell a full story for this. So, I went to the first NFAN event and I enjoyed it and all that jazz. And I made a video on it to post on the internet, and also they were giving away prizes, like a freaking amazing monitor, like curved monitor, like G-Sync and all that jazz. Absolutely amazing monitor. But it cost over like $2,000
Yeah, there's the catch.
for the monitor, not for the PC. The monitor.
There's the catch.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
best monitor in the world, $2,000.
Was it a 4K monitor?
Oh, wow.
4K, like G-Sync, a curved screen.
Curved.
3D? Not 3D.
How big? How big?
Pretty big, like about as big as that screen.
That's at least
Holy
40.
shit!
That's at least 40
Yeah.
inches, is it? Oh wait.
That's about okay. The TV in front of us is about a 40-inch TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge monitor. That's
Yeah.
not even a monitor. That's a TV, pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's why
Yeah.
it was $2,000.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
definitely why it was $2,000.
That's what it's like. Yeah.
And once he
curved
got to
NGC.
borrow the thing, so he's been happy with that. But I had a chance at winning that. I didn't actually win. But what did happen was I was given a copy of Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Wow, nice.
Can we play it together? Wait, is it PC?
PC.
Can we
PC
play it?
code
I
on
want
Steam.
to
all that
play
jazz.
more of it with people, and I don't get a chance to with the one person I did.
So I ended up with that, but also how the forum works is that the more you post, you get like these points. You normally get 1 point per post. So like the more you post, the more points you get. However, if you make a good post, they give you more points. For this one video, I got 56 points.
Nice.
So at the moment, I think I have like 60 something from just like 3 forum posts I've made. That's like it. And so somehow that has made me have high enough points to start getting invited to these events.
You are really good at
And
social
so
media.
today, you got to do some VR stuff. I
Yeah,
guess.
so
Which sounds
this
awesome.
event
For
is
just for
being-
3 posts, right? 3 posts. Got
Three
got-
Three posts.
3 posts got you basically into a VR event.
and a free game.
Every game.
Wait,
what?
what was the game?
What was the game?
Borderlands the pre-sequel.
Oh, wait,
Oh,
was
yeah.
it today?
No, I got that like ages ago.
Oh,
Borderlands-
wait, no,
Borderlands-
so I thought you meant a free game today as well.
Yeah.
Well, just on a side note, they've announced Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
We should
we'll
talk
get
about
into
that.
that in a bit.
I still need to see any news related to that because I'm excited for that.
I'm
I was a
excited
bit
as well.
disappointed when I heard that the writer moved to Rocket Jump. I mean, not that Rocket Jump is bad, it's just that I'm like, oh,
You're
well,
sad to see him
Borderlands.
go.
Exactly. It's like, what are they going to do with the series? They've clearly left to the point where it's like, stuff's going to happen.
Back on topic, we'll get into that in a bit. So, what this was going to be is this was a video event that they were hosting for some game devs down at the Arcade, which is a game developers like hub thing in Melbourne. And they just thought, well, we may as well make this an NFAN event, and we'll bring in some people from the forums. I was invited to this. I still don't really understand why, but
Because you're considered good at NVIDIA.
You're good at what you do.
I can't think of any other way to
I
phrase
am
that.
a
You're good at
media sheet.
NVIDIA. That's how you
I am a marketing sheet.
So they saw your video. They're like, "Yep, this guy's a dedicated fan."
You are god tier, my friend.
From one video, and I
God
only
tier
just
NVIDIA.
got a computer that's even worth NVIDIA. But which I will say I'm not gonna lie, I love NVIDIA. Just everything about their stuff
Yeah,
that
I
I
love
own
NVIDIA as well.
is just really, really good.
I'm
And
a-
Shadowplay is amazing.
I would,
Yeah.
We
I
talked
would-
about Shadowplay last week. We don't need to talk about it
I
again.
That's
would-
right.
I would prefer NVIDIA over AMD. That said,
I-
when I'm going to have to update the graphics card to my computer, since my motherboard only does crossfires, I'm going to have to go AMD.
I'm gonna be honest.
Ah.
I personally had a lot of like good experience with AMD when I had a computer I got in 2009 that lasted me quite a long time with this 1 gig AMD graphics card. It was beautiful. I don't know why. It worked really well. Like, I mean, obviously it couldn't run certain things because it was a Windows Vista computer from 2009, but it ran things like, you know, even more recent games like Shadow Warrior 2013. They ran that pretty well. Like, you know, given that was quite a few years after the 2000, well, relative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Point is, yeah, it's. I don't know. I kind of like both because I've now got Nvidia in my current laptop, and I kind of don't feel like warring over them, but I don't really know which is better.
Well,
That kind of thing.
I've just interacted with NVIDIA more. I have no.
And they took you to VR, so I mean, like, it's, you know.
Yeah,
you know,
it
it's
gave
not
me
the
VR.
same.
So you put the
So-
VR headset. Did you actually put the VR headset on?
Yes.
What was that like? What were you playing?
Okay, so for the most part, they had 2 demos running. One was an underwater demo, which I did not use, and the other was was the one I did, which was basically an experience in Everest. So they had like real life images of Everest and 3D models of people, which was crazy. But
Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
You get to
And
climb stuff or not?
So, I was the last one to pretty much go on, and like how they had it is they had a raffle going because not everyone could actually do it while they had the time. So what happened was someone else pulled a ticket, and I was talking to them for like the past 10 minutes before that happened. And it was just like, hey, it's like I've done VR before, so I'll let you go. It's like, yay!
Just fangirl Blake.
So I was able to get on the VR, and it was the HTC Vive. So Valve's VR system with the whole fancy controllers, which those things are amazing. They are not like Wiimotes.
They look pretty cool from what I think I've seen of them. I'm not entirely sure if it's them, but I think it's
Okay.
To be honest, that's what's swaying me. Like, I feel like I was originally on Oculus, but I'm swaying more towards the Vive as I'm seeing more of what it does.
Even as early as the Facebook buyout, I was kind of a little bit wary of, and especially now that I heard apparently they can use like data from about your room and stuff to sell you things.
That's
I mean, that's the Facebook in a nutshell. That's what I was worried about when they were bought by Facebook, and that's kind of why I'm like, well, I'm going to go with something I kind of trust a bit more, like Steam.
But I still, what's going to bother me about VR?
Valve can't the three, but they won't steal your information.
Well, let me finish about the example of VR first. So, first of all, the controller's freaking amazing. They're effectively like two Wiimotes, but they are not Wiimotes. They are like
triggers?
Because aren't they
Like
sensitive to your
two
fingers?
triggers?
Yeah, no, 5 triggers.
it's like for every-
all
I
I
think
got to
everything.
use, all I got to use was the triggers on the back. But you get to move them around in order to like interact with things. Now they effectively work like Wiimotes, and you got like the two sensors because that's how the Vive works. But they are like so accurate, so goddamn accurate. It's like your own hands.
Because don't they have triggers on them that like do it for each finger?
They have a trigger on the back, and then they got a little thumb pad.
Okay.
Which is basically the same thumb pads that they use on the Steam controllers.
So how do they attach? Like you're just holding them in your hand. They're not like they're not like wrist strapped or anything.
Well, they have a wrist strap.
Okay, because I was wondering in the event of things where it's like you can have like fingers off, like Surgeon Simulator from what I've seen is I think that's I'm not sure if that's Vive or whatever, but I know it was something.
There is a Surgeon Simulator.
Yeah, there's a Surgeon. Yeah, because I've seen like, and from what I would understand, you'd want to be able to take your 4 fingers off and stuff. And it's like, how do you do that and still hold the control?
I think if it's triggers, then you can still have a lighter grip. Like I think it's more like pressing. Like you put more force when you press a button.
Okay, see that makes sense too. I'm just kind of thinking.
So I'm just surprised by the controllers. I would want the controllers. They're amazing, but then you put the headset on. You put it on, and it's like they got these little cushions on the front that make it really, really comfortable. The straps themselves, you just gotta make sure you're not got them too tight, but otherwise it's fine.
Could you wear your glasses?
No.
Was that a big issue?
I'm gonna get to that in a second. But effectively, you put them on, and it works the same way. The basic, like how you view things works exactly the same as the Oculus. But there's meant to be a little camera. I didn't see that this time round, where you would have like this little camera in the corner or something that would allow you to see the real world just in case you ran into things. I didn't see that today, so I'm not sure about that feature. I can't talk about it too much. Effectively, as soon as I put the thing on, they started the demo and they had to calibrate everything. And it started off with like it felt like I was sitting in a cinema with like nobody else, as they were like having this like screen playing a video of Everest, and then like the background started to like zoom, like started to fade away into the actual Everest, so that you were actually in it. So it was like part documentary, part like just experience.
How
I can see that being a thing in the future.
Yeah.
Like,
How in
they've
depth
done
was
it
that?
with
More what I'm thinking was the experience itself. How was it was very effective quite clearly. Was it like was there what was the cutoff point for you like thinking like I'm on Everest versus I'm standing in a room? What was the cutoff for that?
The entire time there was two things going on in my head. One side of my brain, as we've already established, I have a multiple personality thing. One side of my brain was like, this is a video game. This is not real. This is 100% not real. And I could mostly tell that from the fact that A, I could feel the Vive, and B, I could see like the edges of the Vive where you couldn't see the glass and you couldn't see what it was. The other half of my brain was, why are you on here? Because I wear glasses. So it almost felt like I was wearing just glasses that were like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was
that's
like
glasses.
the edges, I would see the edges of my glasses. So my brain was thinking, this is not reality. What is going on? What the...
So it was challenging it. It was immersive in a way. There was
So
immersion factor.
one half was immersed and the other was thinking it was a video game.
But
And the ultimate point of that is basically during one of the parts you had to walk across this like ladder as if it were a bridge.
Yeah.
And things were crackling as you were walking on it, and it was like I would look down and I was like, no. Because I don't have a fear, I don't have a vertigo, but I do have some form of like I would rather not look down.
yeah,
I have like
Did
a
you look
definite
down?
fear of heights. Even something like
So every
I
time
tried to
I
change
would
some
look down
lights
into
the
a
other
pit, it was like
I just could not be able to do that.
No,
I could
but
never do that.
because that's the thing about VR for me is it's a twofold thing. It's can you market it effectively for it to be long lasting, especially in terms of the games, because that's going to be interesting. Not even just the information thing with Oculus, but can when it comes to Oculus v Vive, what even the one we're forgetting, the PlayStation VR. How immersive
Okay.
is this whole thing going to be?
I think so the Vive is definitely for immersion and for its set of thing, just because you get to move around.
Yeah.
With the Oculus, I feel it's more of a it's more like
Just
another
a head.
version of a monitor, while still having an immersion. It's basically if you're doing a driving game or like some kind of piloting game, you've got the full immersion because that's what you need. If you're doing anything else, it feels like just a second monitor. I don't know how exactly this is. I haven't tried the Oculus myself, but that's how I feel like it's going to be. But when I look at the Vive, it's a full-on experience. Now, here's the thing. I think they're going to do two very different jobs unless the Vive does what the Oculus does. As, like, there's a mode you can switch it to just, like, sit down, put the Vive on, do whatever the Oculus does.
Because the only VR
I
I've
feel like
ever...
they're probably going to do that.
If they don't do that, they're idiots.
The only VR I've ever the only
That
time
one
I ever
they
put on a
broke
VR
that wrong.
headset, like for PC, like I've done Samsung VR a couple
The
times,
only
but
time. Ooh.
but the
I've done
HTC
it all.
no, it was the one out in Melbourne Central.
Yeah, but I
No, but the one for HTC and for Oculus, I've done it. I did try the Oculus Dev Kit once a couple years ago during the development cycle in the early phases. And that was very interesting, just from a rudimentary scale, because it was very rudimentary. It was just a very basic set out layout of just you're in space. It's a platformer. It still wasn't fully functional, but it was still very interesting to see that going on. Because yes, I was feeling what you were feeling, but since the graphics and quality wasn't as great, there wasn't that immersion factor as greatly. So I'd be very curious to see what that's like further down the line.
Okay, so that's going to take a while, because in order to get a realistic experience, one of two things need that. Pretty much you can do one of two things. You can either A, have fairly 3D models like PlayStation 2 era, but maybe a bit more smoother because you know how to design with those graphics. Or you make it real life, in which you have a camera roller scope, and you can't do that for the Vive. Not easily.
But no, all we have to do, guys, is wait for Nerf gear, whatever it's called.
I'm not no.
No.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes, no,
With the
maybe.
log,
No,
yes, with the logout button. That's it.
Yes.
But the thing is, actually, there's been a
Proper
lot of
logout.
things that have been
no.
shown
Power
to
down,
be
no internal battery.
very immersive. Because prime example,
No, it's actually.
yeah,
Some kind of hard life thing.
prime
you know.
example of that is there's a movie coming out in a couple of weeks called Hardcore Henry, which is
I wanna watch
an
this film
action
now.
movie
That's
that has
right.
been recorded completely in first person. So it's all an action movie about where you're seeing from the perspective of
I've
the guy
seen a
that's
review of
beating
this.
up all these
Wasn't he
people.
also silent?
I think what if it's
I believe I've heard that it's a silent protagonist.
It would make
So
sense.
it's like playing Half-Life, but it's a movie,
Yeah.
which is awesome,
Which
in
is-
my opinion.
Half-Life.
Okay, I gotta check out this trailer.
There's a
There's
big
I know
prototype.
Rooster Teeth did for the Alamo Draft House, who have a very strong no talking, no texting.
They kicked
policy.
out Madonna for it.
Yeah, they did Rooster Teeth did a little short ad for them, kind of working with the people who did Hardcore Henry as it was actually pretty cool. You should probably look it up. It's because especially because the way if they used a similar system for the film as they did in the short, they had this sort of box around the person's head and the camera, and the person could still see really clearly, but there was the camera there, and it was just it was, I don't know, something about it was just like really cool. Like this could, I don't know if it could be more of a thing even if it's like a really good film, but it's definitely something interesting and something that needs to exist, and I'm glad that it does.
Yeah, I can't wait. I definitely feel that this is the future. And okay, so there was one. You mentioned glasses earlier. There was one small problem with it.
So it was blurry for you?
Okay, so how they work is that they basically have a modified version of 3D working.
Because they've got a pair of lenses that you can adjust, don't they?
Yeah, and they also have... Basically how it works is that it's trying to trick your eyes into thinking it's 3D by having two images and combining them together, as 3D normally
Stereoscopic
does.
stuff.
The problem I normally have with 3D is that if I'm not wearing my glasses, it has problems working.
You've got some really big nooks, like crannies.
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah,
things...
obviously.
Yeah.
Because you always
once you wear them all day, it's like that.
But
Anyway, so as I was using the Vive, it didn't feel as 3D as it should have been, and I could see like red lines on the border of pretty much everything, and that was a problem that as a glasses wearer I had. Not too much of a problem, but that's just because I have a lazy eye.
I feel like they should have some way to account for that more easily.
They have mentioned stuff. Both Oculus and Vive have mentioned things about getting prescription lenses for this system.
But that would be very customized.
The problem is here's how they do it. It's not going to be on the current versions.
No, it's not.
It's not. In future versions, they might be able to be like easily replaceable lenses inside.
Okay, see that's
system.
a better way of doing it, because I was thinking more along the lines of rather than being some expensive, like but then maybe something that can be like adjusted in some way. I don't know, like some kind of.
That would be helpful.
That would be good. As an industrial designer, I'm really like
that would
trying to. I really want to make that work.
That would be interesting. That'd be interesting to see. Look, all in all, I think this has actually been a really good chat. Like, this has been really good. You know, technical issues aside, because we seem to never escape those, do we?
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, they're like an
We'll sort them out eventually.
Look, we spent
one day, when pigs fly, we will be free of technical issues.
correction.
No,
and
I'm not just talking about in the terms of the podcast as well. They're just in general.
Oh no,
one day,
that is never
when
ending.
pigs fly.
No, but look, okay, so before we continue, I do want to give a shout out to a guy that's helped me out today with like just getting all the technical
Pretty much
set up.
everything.
Yeah, he's been
Yes,
he's helped us out a lot. So we started late. It's almost 11 o'clock. And we're just trying to help the technicals get organised. So, look, thank you very much.
Give him away.
He's
just typing more hearts now.
He's acting as the moderator for the current podcast.
Heart,
You too. Yeah, thank you very much, James, for all this.
We love you.
And in all of that, and on that.
You can't do that.
Give him the smile. Give him the smile.
You can't do
He's
that.
smiling.
No, get out. You can't do that.
Just lean it
I
in.
know, you love it.
I'm not letting you do it.
I can't do it properly. I don't know how to do it.
No one gets to do it except me.
I'm gonna have a tissue in your nose while doing it.
What happened? Like nose
Blood
blood?
nose,
I had a freaking. I didn't want to blow my nose and interrupt, so I just stuck to it.
Oh god!
Good job.
You were that considerate when there was some bloke cooking in the background. I think
that was not him, by the way. He's too professional for that.
I think background noise. I think concerns of background noise at that point were out the window.
Yeah, no.
Well,
We're gonna have to start like renting a studio or something when we actually get money.
we're not getting money for this at some point.
We can keep using my place again, guys. It's okay. We can just burn down Chris's place again and result.
Yeah.
No, I only have so much bribe money. I only have so much bribe money.
And we only have so much, I'm trying to remember.
I'm gonna die of like time travel sickness if we keep doing this.
Okay.
Oh, come on, you'll get more used to it. It's
No,
fine.
I can't get
On
used to it.
that
I'll
note-
still get cast.
On that note, we should move to the book club.
Yep.
So,
The book club that we failed to do for 2 weeks in a row, sort of. But oh well, we can do it better this
hopefully,
time.
yes, hopefully we can do better this time. So,
I get to choose it.
so we've updated.
Finally, Blake gets a break. Yes.
Yes, you've been on every week.
Perfect track record.
Including the week that didn't happen.
I like that little S.
Even the week.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Even
How many times have you been on at this point? Two out of what were we up like 6?
That's why he's the little
And
S.
that's
He
when
doesn't
you-
show up for shit.
I like how it's double S.
That is literally why he's the little S. He doesn't show up for Jack. Okay.
So if we had someone who wasn't named Jack here, wait.
For the book club, it's
You don't know
a
Jack.
1 through 10 list now. So
But then,
music, anime, TV, artists, food, so well, us eating before this. YouTube, videos, card games.
Why isn't more of this anime? Just
No,
anime.
I know it's saying anime. You guys are gonna sign Love Life if that happens, aren't
Not
you?
necessarily. Not necessarily.
No.
This is just-
The thing, if
It
I
is
say
his
Love
choice to
Life,
fit.
it's just going to be.
Just
Most
hit.
of us have already seen it anyway.
Yeah.
No, I mean just to torture me.
No,
I
I have
know there will
something
be a day.
worse.
There will
Chris.
be a day.
No, but
Joey
Joey,
would
there's no
recommend
point
I
doing
would be at there.
Like, the thing is, there's torturing you, and then there's, can we be bothered logistically? No, we can't.
No, no, I will follow. Okay, whatever happens in the book club, I do follow through if I can.
If you can.
If I can, like the book was a bit difficult and I wasn't on last week.
But I suggested something on the. No one.
It wasn't your
Do it.
call.
We haven't done. We need to do
Okay,
the number. Quick
So
number.
1 through 10. Here we go. The number is
Anime.
Eight. Not anime.
a card game again.
No.
No,
Okay,
no,
let's
we're
reroll
not
that.
doing that
Reroll
twice.
that.
We're not doing
Reroll
that
that.
twice.
Anime.
Not until we go through everything else
Hey,
first.
Artists.
Oh.
Okay, so
Wait,
so,
what kind of, is this like
Okay,
music
what do you
artists?
mean by artists exactly?
you can explain that because that
Can
was
I?
your idea. It was your idea.
Wait, it was? No.
Yeah.
Wait. So is it?
So
I
okay, let's say
genuinely
an artist in terms of like someone who does good
Actual
fan
art?
art, nerdy art, like who's very good at that style.
That kind of art.
So not music though.
No, music is the
Music is
People
same thing. So we'll leave Blake to figure that out, and just so we can all check it out and see what
Wait,
it's like.
should we ask Blake if he actually wants to sign us in the artist?
Well, okay, here's the thing. The only one I can think of is a card game artist.
That's fine.
And that still works.